Hey everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, I'm coming down with something again. Forgive me if I sniffle, cough, or sneeze, but I've had the worst cold ever. Oh my goodness. Everything just blocked up here. And forgive me if I cough too much on camera. Been like this for like 3 days. Now, fortunately, or unfortunately, on Wednesday, I am going to be going through a gas environment for the third time in like a 5-month period. So I'm sure all that congestion will just go away soon. Masonic Traveler says, what's up? Hey, Masonic Traveler. Welcome back to our live stream. Welcome back, everybody, to our 6 o'clock live stream. I'm trying my best to be consistent every day at 6 excuse me, every day at 6 o'clock, at least 3 days out of the week. I'll try to meet that obligation. If you guys have any questions, concerns for me, please let me know. Otherwise, I want to talk about some latest information. If you are in California, the Social Security Specialist, one of our YouTube subscribers, sent me a text in the morning regarding some talk about some de-escalation requirements for California private security. If you're chiming in from another state, you have to keep in mind that what happens in California will have a hand-me-down trickle effect on your state as well. I remember Justin Humphreys. He's a fellow from Tennessee. He also has his own YouTube channel. He mentioned that there's some latest legislation, and I believe that first aid CPR is a requirement, and I think de-escalation training is a requirement as well. So in California, Christopher Holden, our buddy old pal, who pushed Assembly Bill, oh my goodness, which one is it? 1244, might be pushing some new legislation. Him and then some other senators talked about the Banco incident that happened at the Walgreens store in San Francisco. Remember, Mr. Michael was a private security officer. I don't know what company he worked for. He shot and killed. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I said that word. I forgot that this video's monetized. Anyhow, he put down Banco Brown in what appeared to be a strong arm robbery attempt. Now, there's some people that disagree whether it's a strong arm robbery. You want to disagree with me, that's fine. You're also disagreeing with a licensed attorney, the district attorney's office from San Francisco. I don't have the credentials, but she does, and I formed this opinion that it was a strong arm robbery way before I even heard about the district attorney's report. So what they're trying to do is push mandatory de-escalation training. First off, the word or the phrase de-escalation is a made-up term that's created by politicians, mostly Democrat. If you're a Democrat, I apologize if I'm offending you, but that's the reality. Is the Democratic Party is pushing this de-escalation training. I have been in private security since 1998. In fact, on my 18th birthday, I turned in my job application for a mall security company. The company's called PSC, Professional Security Consultants. My 18th birthday, I walked in there, and I got a job. Showed them the pink slip. That's the temporary guard registration form, and I was given the job. During that time period, there was nothing called de-escalation training. It was called something else. One of the classes that I took on my own was called verbal judo. And what I learned in that class set the foundation for what I will learn in other classes called de-escalation. I learned the golden rule. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. I learned about people having impaired judgment when they're under the influence of controlled substances or alcohol. I learned to keep your distance. But most of all, I learned how to respect people. And I wasn't required to take this class. It was offered by La Puente Regional Occupation Program. This was an elective classes. You get a certificate at the end. All that was required during those years was just an 8-hour certificate. That was your de-escalation and was rather effective. You see, if you respect people, you can reduce the intensity of situations. And I rather prefer to talk about reducing the intensity of situations rather than refer to this topic of de-escalation. Because once again, it's a made-up term by the politicians. It's used over and over again, and I'm just tired of hearing that term. I've been to about 2 or 3 police de-escalation courses that were required by POST, the California Peace Officer Commission on Standards of Training, butchering their title right now. And the instructors, who are very professional, very experienced, over 30 years of experience in law enforcement. Some of them have over 10 years in internal affairs with large agencies like LAPD. They told us towards the end of the class that it's ultimately up to the aggressor to de-escalate, not the police officer. So what does that tell you about training? In most officer-involved shootings in law enforcement and even security, it's not because the incident didn't occur because the officer failed to de-escalate. In most of the circumstances, it's because the assailant, the suspect, failed to de-escalate. Okay? Fast forward this, maybe 14, 15 years, I moonlighted at a hospital, right? And we're required to take nonviolent crisis intervention, and then also MOAB, managing aggressive behavior, something like that. For the nonviolent crisis intervention program, by the way, we were taught by EMTs. And excuse me, guys. And basically, they taught us that when there's an aggressive patient, you yell out the word team. So you say team, right? And you look to see if someone else has a nonviolent crisis intervention pin, an actual pin that you can actually, if you're security, a patient can rip off the pin and shove that needle right in your eye. And we were told to wear this pin. So somebody else has a pin, you yell out the words team, team. Your partner goes behind them, or sometimes in front of them, hooks their elbow with their elbow. The other person, it's hard to explain, hooks their elbow with their elbow, and then you gently place them against the wall. Oh, that's not gently. That's smacking against the wall. I just showed you a technique that works. You slowly press them against the wall. And then you say, team, we're going to go down now. So then you go down, and then a nurse would administer the sedative. Tell me how many times this technique worked. I got a call one day in the BHU unit, the behavioral health unit, that there's a patient escaping. And at the hospital we work at, if you have a patient escape, oh my goodness, that's not a good idea. You run off the property to catch this person because you don't want to lose any federal or state funding. So we had to call the patient escape. The elevator opened up, right? All of a sudden, I see a fight with the nurse and the patient. All of a sudden, the patient says, get him, get him, get him. So I grab this patient. I got to be careful what I say on camera. I assist this patient to the ground. I put them in an armbar lock, and the nurse screams, stop, stop, you're hurting him, you're hurting him, you're going to break his arm. And I was thinking, I've done this hundreds of times, and I've never broken anyone's arm. All of a sudden, the nurse pushes me off, and all of a sudden, I get kicked almost between my legs. I fall back. The patient escapes through the elevator, and luckily there was other staff in there to help bring this person to the ground. That's a real situation. They wanted us to use nonviolent crisis intervention. I mean, you think that really works? It doesn't. My goal, guys, is to be a use of force expert for private security. I will get that goal. As you guys know, I'm religious. I believe in God. And he has a plan for me. Not too long ago, remember, I kept saying this in other videos. I wanted to be a use of force expert or some expert in private security. I end up being able to testify as an expert on a private investigation case in California. So now I'm qualified as an expert witness for private investigators, private investigator standards. The God, he'll answer your prayers if you ask him enough. And I don't want to get too much on a religious soapbox, but he usually doesn't answer it in the exact way that you ask. So I wanted to be a security use of force expert, couldn't become one. I ended up becoming a private investigation use of force expert. And you might think, Sean, you're asking for too much to be an expert. Guys, it's all an expert is you have advanced knowledge or knowledge more than the layman, more than the average person in security. Almost all of you watching my videos are security experts. Believe it or not, some of you might be laughing. You're not an expert. Justin Humphreys, my favorite guy, he's probably laughing right now saying, they're not experts. If they wanted to be an expert, they should be a correction officer or law enforcement officer and go through the academy. Just something crazy like that, right? He would say something like that. But no, most of you are experts because you have knowledge above the layperson that helps a jury understand the issues that are being discussed in court. It helps the jury understand the facts as they are being presented. Okay, so if you guys are going through any use of force incidents, get a hold of me, especially if your state license is at stake in California, though. As long as this is a hearing that's done online or over the phone, I will show up and I won't even charge. Okay, so that's the goal I have. Let me go to the comments real quick before I end this discussion. Don Magano says, incident took place back in January 2023, Walgreens, Japantown. Sorry, guys, something just vanished. And one of our security brothers was shot in the head and killed by a minor murder suspect. Strange, it was kept silent. Thank you so much for reviving that memory. Masonic Traveler says, I enjoyed the talk last night, so you don't get monetized. You should do a video on all tools security guards should carry on them regardless of the post. I found your OC in your pocket commenting interesting. Yeah, no, definitely. I've made like 3 or 4 videos on what equipment is common in security. You know, I can always do revision. That's not a problem. All right, let me go through the other comments here. Mason Traveler says, so what's your advice if my boss tells me I'm golden but won't promote me? I filled in as OIC, officer in charge, and filled in as supervisor. I just feel like the company I work for doesn't want to. You know, I would think that if you're golden, then you get promoted fast. But I mean, if they're giving you this OIC position, then they believe in you and they actually have a lot of trust in you. So I don't know. I think you are golden. I think that there's just a time and place for promotional opportunities, time and place for advancement. Just wait a little bit longer. Sorry, guys, if I don't sound empathetic or sympathetic, but I'm just trying to tell you guys the way it is. Okay, so that's it. Hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and log off. I got somewhere to be, but I will talk to you on the next chat. Take care.